Hi. This is the studio. Over here are some of the more recent drawings I've made over the last 2 years. They're all 40 by 50 inches. That's enough space for me to draw a person almost life-size. And this here is where the magic happens, where every one of these drawings was made. The heart of my work over the last 20 years has been to provide platforms for the people to express themselves. I always tell the guys when they come into the studio to envision their portrait hanging in a museum in 10 or 20 years. Many of the guys feel they're not seen on their own terms, and I think nudity enforces visibility. When you see somebody nude, you will look. By shedding your clothes, we create some platform in here on which we build something much more intimate and introspective. To me, one of the most interesting aspects is that I may know a guy better than almost anybody else in this world, and yet I don't know his surname. And to me, that's an interesting alternative foundation for building a relationship. Everybody wants to be seen. Some of the guys tell me that they want proof of being desirable. Others just simply want to be a part of some artistic pursuit. Every one of these guys is different, and I try to cater to their personalities and their visions. With drawing, I can experiment, I can get way out of my comfort zone. That's perfect for what we do. So Nick asked me to represent him through a thirst trap, which is a slightly eroticized selfie that's used for a lot of online dating, and simulate the light in his room when he takes these selfies. David had a pretty rough childhood. He grew up in foster homes, and when he came in here, had a cigarette and wanted to demonstrate blowing smoke rings. He also wanted to be portrayed as a survivor of his life. He thought that an erection would be a very powerful way to demonstrate that. Ray is one of the guys I've worked with the longest. He's had a very rough life. He continues to have a rough life. He's homeless. For this image, he was very tired. He hadn't slept in a few days. And he sat down and he didn't move a muscle for 4 hours. And sometimes when he falls asleep at night, he envisions having a huge mansion with a grand staircase. And every time we finish a session, he envisions that drawing to hang in that staircase. David is very proud of his butt. In fact, he kept on reminding me throughout the session to pay close attention to making it look as good as possible. We also highlighted his fingernails, which he had specifically painted for the session. Andrew grew up in a very conservative evangelical environment with a lot of very negative body images. So that became much more complicated when he discovered that he was gay. So he thought if his portrait ever hung in a museum, he wanted it to be radically positive. And the most radical thing he could think of was to be portrayed masturbating. Sonny was the very last portrait I made before COVID quarantine. He loosely falls within the straight spectrum, like about 50% of the other guys that I draw. On one hand, he wanted to be portrayed very body forward and strong, but at the same time, he also wanted to be drawn gentle and soft. He also brought his rosary beads, which his grandmother had given to him before she died. He had it blessed by the church. He wanted her to be a part of this somehow.